What
I
is
thought
up,
I got
Nintendo
kicked out.
Land? Welcome to the Nintendo Open Air podcast, and no one is getting kicked out tonight. It's time to grab a chili dog, everyone. It's Sonic Mania has officially rolled onto the Nintendo Switch this week, and it's come with a few issues. So, has anyone decided to pick up the Blue Blur's latest adventure?
I have
I
not.
haven't run into the issue with the home button or any of that,
Oh,
but you know,
that's
it's
good.
otherwise it's how do you describe it? It's they tried to make it look like you remember the first Sonic game looking, but the first Sonic game doesn't look this good.
Yeah, it's basically like a fan game, I think, isn't it? Like they had a bunch of fan developers like make levels for it.
It doesn't sound
Is that
good.
how that worked?
Yeah, I think it's a game. Sega. I don't even think Sega made the game. I think they had
Can you
developers
imagine?
that were fans.
Can you imagine Nintendo releasing a Mario game that was made up of Mario's made on Super Mario Maker? That would
That's pretty much
Yeah.
what
that
Super
actually might
Mario
not be
Maker
that
was,
bad.
though.
Yeah,
I wouldn't put it past them
Yeah,
when
but
it
I
comes.
mean,
Maybe that'll come to Switch as like Super Mario Maker best levels.
I hated the hard
Uh,
levels. They were so difficult.
Such
Well,
an easy eShop title though.
the first level was pretty much the first level of Sonic, as far as I could tell,
Yeah.
or pretty close.
Yeah, a lot of them are just remixes of the original levels.
Yeah. So it is what it is, but it's well put together, and it's a nice, like as far as those retro titles go, where they take an old game and try to produce a new one. Like Blaster Master Zero was a similar effort where it's
That was
just
well
like
done.
it's well, and the Sonic is too. It's very, very pretty. It's very nice. I've only played a few levels of it so far, but yeah, I mean, if you were a fan of the old Sonic games, which actually I wasn't so much, but it's a good one for $20. I don't know. Anybody who's got that nostalgia itch will pick it up.
It's only $20.
Yeah.
Oh wow, not
That's
bad.
There's
gold coins right there.
there's like a 60, yeah, right there. There's like a $60 special edition that I don't. Is that out, the special edition, or is that delayed?
I think so. It's because all it is it's not a physical version anyway. It's a digital
It's
download code and a statue and like a
Yeah.
coin and a prepaid calling card. I don't know what else is in there.
But it's a digital code though, and then a big box full of Sonic stuff.
which
Yeah,
all looks
but you can
pretty
just
nice.
it does all
Yeah, it
like
looks good.
the little Sonic statue on the Genesis is really cool. Don't get me wrong, but for me, $20 will do just to download the game.
Yeah, if you were a hardcore Sega boy, like that's a pretty sweet pickup.
Yeah.
I think I've already heard from two different people today, or earlier today, even post that they finished the game.
Whoa.
Yeah, so
So not much content, huh?
yeah, and from what I understood, it was pretty easy. So
Yeah, I think they're
Mostly in
basically
garbage
it's like
days,
a remix of the greatest levels from all the different Sonic games, and then I think there are a couple original retro inspired levels in it, but it looks neat. I would it's one of those ones that I kind of would want to wait for a discount or something, but I don't even know how low. It might have to go to 10 before who knows. Maybe I'll pick it up. My daughter likes Sonic a lot.
I kind of feel the same way. If it was a lower price point, yeah.
Is there a story to it?
Sorta. Like as much story as there was in the original Sonic game,
Yeah.
right?
All right, here it
yeah.
goes. Sega makes a video game and sells it for $20. That's their headline. Oh,
It does have a nice opening. I did
Yeah.
see that.
yeah. I think the
Huh.
story is about a blue hedgehog who runs fast and does loop-de-loops, and there's some guy that's definitely not Dr. Wily from Mega Man. What is he, imprisoning animals or something, making them into robots? I don't know.
Yeah, basically.
It's good, but could you imagine if they did a like middle of the road Super Mario game, Okay, let's say they did Super Mario Run for $20, or for $60, Super Mario Run digital download with a Mario standing on a NES statue.
Ooh.
Like, people would be going out of their minds trying to kill each other for one of those.
Yeah.
But nobody would care about the game.
Yeah.
Oddly enough, I know I had mentioned this elsewhere a couple of times, but one of the local grocery stores has a Super Mario Run display at the end of an aisle. Buy this prepaid card and download it. But I noticed recently that the prepaid card is for $50, not for the $10, which is what Super Mario Run costs.
And I think you were going to say all the things on the display expired a year ago.
It's very possible that it is.
They're like, "Oh, were we supposed to put this out?"
Yeah, it just appeared like last week. So I'm going late to the party.
I still haven't picked that one up.
I don't. I've played the free version, but I don't intend to pick it up.
They get no money out of me for that.
Me neither.
I didn't even bother to download it. Yeah.
I downloaded it though.
Yeah, I did too.
I tried,
That's
like, one
that's
level and,
100
like, it's
silver
awful.
coins. What are you, out of your mind?
Yeah, that's true.
That's a free JPEG right there, man.
Yeah, 2 of them.
But there is one other thing I wanted to touch on while we're talking about Sonic Mania. Mo, I believe you brought up earlier that this is going to be a sort of basis for the future of Sonic in a lot of ways.
Yeah, I think Sega
Sega?
had some kind of quote going. Yeah, Sega had some kind of quote saying that this would kind of define the direction of Sonic the Hedgehog games, or maybe it's just 2D ones. Like if this sells well, maybe they'll go back to that instead of the 3D style. I don't know what they were trying to get at.
Yeah, well, they've had 3D
Right.
style for quite a while now on Nintendo consoles, at least since the GameCube. And I think, in my opinion, they've slowly went down in quality.
Yeah, I think they've had trouble
never-
with development teams uninspired.
I would
never
say
played
they
any of
quickly
them.
went down in quality. Sorry, go ahead, Eric.
Yeah, I agree.
I've never played any of them, but I believe that, yeah, they're down in quality. I would believe that.
There have been a few exceptions, though, here and
I like
there.
the Game Boy Advance one was decent. At least the first one.
Sonic Generations, a couple games ago, a few games back, was pretty good. There's been bright spots here and there, but the vast majority of them have just been meh.
Yeah. Well, we can't all be Mario and Sonic at the Olympics.
That's right. You can't forget that. And since we're going to talk about sports, one of the other games that is coming out soon to the Switch is the new FIFA game. And again,
Look at that segue.
EA has said the future of their support of the Switch is resting on how well FIFA performs.
Well, that right there
Yeah.
makes me not want to buy it. I hate EA. EA can suck it.
Yeah, they're the most.
I don't know
hated.
how it does versus Madden. Like, I would think worldwide, FIFA's probably their best seller. Probably their lowest one in the U.S., but I'm sure everywhere else it probably does well. So it's hard to say if that's like to somebody in the U.S. It seems like the odds are stacked against us. Like they're going to put everything on a soccer game, but
Right.
football games are huge. Yeah, I don't know if Madden does better than FIFA does. Like, because if you look worldwide, Madden's only coming here.
Yeah,
That's true.
Yeah, but EA is the most hated games publisher in the world, right? Pretty much.
Is it by people other than Nintendo fans though?
Oh, I think so. I've seen memes like.
Because I mean, yeah,
it's
EA is pretty notorious. Like they were the ones that started putting out the same game year after year with just an updated roster and charging full price for it for years before people were like,
Hey, it worked for me.
Yeah, I don't know. EA is they're pretty notorious, I think, in the gaming industry amongst consumers as being a pretty, shady, greedy, kind of,
Yeah.
like a Korolko type company.
Well, I think they said
Korolko?
something too. Yeah, I don't know Kuroko. But is
It's an
that
old
some old
reference.
Atari thing,
No, that's a
or Atari
reference
Age
to all
thing?
those old. That's the company that made like all the Rambo and various
Oh,
Arnold
Oh, really?
Schwarzenegger movies.
Ah,
Oh, yeah.
I didn't know that.
Anyway, um, yeah, I don't know. EA is I mean, I've probably owned half of the Nintendo hockey games they put out. Like I would buy them every couple of years, if not every year. I would like to see. That's one thing Nintendo has not had, and I don't think the rest of you care as much as I do, but I like sports games because they're just different every time. It's a slightly different game, even if the core mechanics. So it's like, even though I'm not a sports fan necessarily, I won't watch it on TV, but I'll play like a baseball game or I'll play a hockey game. I do like hockey, but I'll play those games just because you can. It's the same reason Tecmo Bowl is fun. It's
I
slightly
used
different every time.
I used to have Ken Griffey Jr.'s Major League Baseball for
Super NES?
Super NES, and yeah, my friend and I we would play that like all night until the sun came up. It was a fun game. Had to name your
Isn't
players and
there's a
we're gonna
new
say
RBI
Z.
coming out, right?
Yeah, that's been announced for Switch.
I'm mildly
Although
interested in that.
I've got Super RBI for the Super NES, and it was awful. I expected it to be like Super Tecmo Bowl, like just the same RBI game, just updated graphics a little bit, and it wasn't. That kind of disappointed me. But yeah, I loved the old NES ones. It's the Wii U never got a bunch of sports games. There's really no sports games so much on 3DS was a success, and I think they did one that was generically called Madden Football,
yeah.
and
I remember
and
that.
never
Yeah.
didn't have I don't think it had a year attached to it. And then they never did another one. They did one Madden for a Madden and a FIFA on Wii U. So I mean, we haven't had games. We know we're getting a basketball game from 2K. Um, I'd like to see some EA stuff. I don't know if EA would bring like it'd be crazy to see like Star Wars stuff on again because I think EA has that license right now with like Battlefront and stuff, right?
I don't know.
That would be interesting. For
Yeah.
far as sports go, I'm more of a college uh,
Yeah.
sports fan. So I live in a college town, so of course I've enjoyed those. I'd
So you
probably buy.
enjoy the Mode 7 NCAA playoffs for Super NES.
I wouldn't go that far.
It's maybe one of the worst. But they did have some kind of half-hearted comment about like, our experiences haven't always been great on portables, but this is like the definitive portable version of FIFA. So I think that's like you can read through the PR. Like it's not as good as anything else we're putting out, but you can play it on a bus. So we'll see. I mean, it'll sell whatever here. Some people will buy it. But I'd like to see other games come, and I'd like to see sports games come at some point, no matter who's doing it. I guess we're getting wrestling, if you consider that a sports game. Kind of is.
And it helps too, even though they do the lousy, 2017, 2018 versions and so forth. It is something new coming on the Switch at a steady pace, and it's something that I think would boost sales.
It's nice for a Nintendo system to see a game coming out for the system at the same time as it comes out on the other systems.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of rare now.
It's like remember when Watch Dogs came out on the Wii U, it was like already in the bargain bin, I think, for the other systems. And I know they had announced Watch Dogs 2, but I don't think that ever did come, and I'm guessing it's not going to now to Wii U.
You think if Nintendo ever stops making consoles that we'll see a Nintendo game on like a PS4 or a
They would have
Xbox
to.
One?
I almost wonder though if they got. I mean, I wonder if they got to the point that they didn't make consoles anymore, if they would just sell the company. Like,
Yeah.
if they would just be like,
They wouldn't
okay,
even
well
make
we're
games
done.
anymore.
Yeah, they'd be like, we're just going to sell our stuff to Disney for because that'd be a big acquisition. I think it makes sense for those two to at some point join forces. Like I said, they bought everything else that I loved. Marvel and Star Wars. They might as well own the rest of me. But yeah, I don't know. I'm interested to see. But with the Wii U, they were day one at E3. Like, we're excited to be launching on this system and throwing our support behind good old Nintendo. And then they just split. Like, and they had some kind of not kind things to say too. They were kind of crappy, if I remember, at the time when they left Nintendo. Like, I mean, or people took it crappy. I think they were really just saying, "Hey, look, you guys have sold like 5 consoles. It costs us too much money to make games that are going to sell to 5 people."
Right.
Like,
so the one thing I liked
it is
about
just the economics.
The one thing I liked about that Madden game on Wii U was that it had a Miiverse community. So that was a nice.
It had a sweet with the gamepad. You could draw your own plays. Like, on the fly. Like, you could call an audible and be like, "Hey, I want this receiver to go up and to go to the right," and you could just draw it on the gamepad, and then boom, that play would happen. Like, that was a cool thing that you couldn't do on another system. It's sad that didn't take off better. I saw Sony gave Nintendo a good attaboy the other day too. They said, like, their president or whatever was like, "I'm glad to see Nintendo's back."
Oh, with what? With Madden games?
No, with Switch. Just with Switch overall. So the perception seems to be that the Switch is successful.
So far.
Yeah. It would be awesome if, like, Nintendo, like, at the next thing, like next year, is like, "By the way, we just wanted to say we told you we double production. We actually quadrupled it, and we sold all of those as well." Like,
Instead of making 100 Switch units, we made 400.
yeah, and yeah, I'm interested to see. I still feel like if you can get one now, buy it now and scalp it at Christmas, because I have no faith in them being able to get them on the shelves at Christmas. But I would love to be pleasantly surprised.
It would be a big dream for Nintendo, though, if they could become the must-have toy for Christmas.
Yeah.
Yeah, but not at eBay prices. I mean, if you remember last year, because they loved that last year, that Best Buy exclusive Black Friday 3DS, that was like one of them. That was on all those must-have lists. Like, this is a great deal, and yeah, it was, but they only had it for like a day.
It was, yeah.
Like,
yeah, I could have pre-ordered it too,
yeah.
But well.
It was gone.
You think we'll get another Black Friday only or holiday only offering from Nintendo?
Maybe. I think they could even do one with Christmas trees on it, and people would buy it. Like, if they had a Christmas-themed Mario one, people would buy it. And for $99, you really can't beat that. Like you said, the 2DS at $80 or whatever is an awesome deal, but a genuine 3DS is better.
Perhaps that's the reason we never did get the Splatoon Joy-Cons here. Maybe we're going to get a red and green pair for Christmas this year.
That's what I wonder. They could. I also noticed, speaking of those awesome Joy-Con, so Nintendo of Japan's website has an option where you can buy a Switch and you can customize the colors of the Joy-Con. So anything that they've made, you can get. So if you want a left one that's yellow and a right one that's blue, you can do it. However, they only have, like, the left one is green and the right one is pink. You can't have one with green on both sides. So they have not even produced the opposite colors, like the matching colors, which I thought was interesting.
It is interesting.
But yeah, I'd love to see. Like I said, I really think someday it would be so easy for them just to do a little online store where you could just buy custom sets.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if that would. Apparently, for the American market, I don't know if they would have enough of you got to buy it now, must have.
That's true. That's true. Because, like I said, I've bought stuff from Nintendo's online store before, like extra styluses or component cables and stuff. But I feel like you have to know that store exists and try to work a little bit to find it. Like,
yeah, it's not easy to get to from the site. Absolutely.
It's like you have to really want to go to that store and to know that it's out there somewhere.
Well, you basically have to have something broke and you're trying to figure out how you can fix it.
Right. Yeah. I did buy another Wii U power cord as well at one point because mine had started shorting out.
Oh wow!
I don't know
I
if
thought they
it's
would like last forever.
I leave it plugged in all the time, so I just take it from like one place to another, like close by, and set it. So I'm sure every now and then it'll get a nice yank on it that it wasn't supposed to. It'll be wrapped around the corner of a cabinet or something, and I'll like go to pick it up, and it's like, boom. So I abuse it.
What were you gonna say, Jason?
I was just going to say, just as a recent note, I play a lot of Splatoon in handheld mode with the Switch, and one day I had problems with the power cable connecting to the Switch. It was like it was loose, and as I was playing it, it would pop up, charging or battery at such, whatever percent. And it'd go back and forth.
Yeah.
Does
See,
anyone else
I
have
wouldn't be
that?
comfortable playing it like that, like with it actually charging at the same time with it plugged in. Like, I guess it's on the
It's not.
bottom.
It's not
Yeah,
comfortable. Yeah.
it seems like it adds that little extra awkwardness that you're not free.
Right.
Yeah, no, I couldn't do that. That was how they were at those events.
Yeah.
And it was, to me, that screwed up the whole thing.
Yeah.
But you're pulling it off, huh, Jason?
Yeah, I guess. Well, when you've got a 2-hour salmon run going on, and then it's like, oh, but the console's going to shut down in 5 seconds. Okay, I better plug it up.
He's a handheld warrior, man.
That's right.
The man who has not seen it on a TV yet.
I'm making
your dock,
Nintendo prove it.
You even have your dock hooked up.
I have until I've started eating the power cable.
I'm surprised when Z was looking for an extra dock, you weren't like, I'll sell you mine. I don't need it. You could probably do that. You could sell it for like $60, man. I bet you could get that out of it. And then be like, hey, if I ever want one again, I just pay $80.
I might be interested.
So you'll take a third one until the projector comes out.
Yeah, exactly. Then I'll try to sell it back.
Yeah, in case you haven't seen the news stories out this week, there will be a projector you can mount directly onto your Switch.
Yeah, it's a dock that you put the tablet into, and it's got like its own portable battery, so you can project, like, I think they said up to 300 foot or maybe bigger. I don't know. You can put yourself on a movie theater screen with your Switch portably on the go on battery power.
Yeah, it's exactly the super dock that I was talking about before, but plus a projector.
Yeah,
but you can plug it in if you want, right?
Yeah,
that's a good question. Yeah, well, you can. Yeah, there's definitely got to be power, but there's also got to be HDMI on this thing, right?
It said it's got HDMI inputs that you can actually input other devices to it and play those on the projector. Yeah,
but I may not do out to like a regular TV and work as a regular dock. I wonder.
You would think it would have to, but who knows? That would make it the ultimate Switch.
Yeah, I would have to have.
I'm playing DVDs through my Switch. Through my Switch dock for no reason.
You need to make
project it.
Need to make a friend at a movie theater, and it's like, man, can I just come in early and play my Switch on the big screen?
Yeah. I would worry. I mean, you've got stuff to worry about with things like that, like the projector bulb going to need to be replaced. I think Z mentioned earlier the systems. I mean, that thing. I mean, if you can sell a plastic dock without a projector in it for $80,
yeah,
who knows what kind of price tag they're going to throw on something like this? Like, we're kickstarting it, and it starts at only $1,000. But we'll see. I
wonder if heat will become an issue as well. Because
that's true too. You thought your Switch was bending before. Well, now you got it next to a high power light bulb as well.
I didn't even think about that. Yeah, heat. Well, modern LEDs, they still produce a lot of heat, though. I think
that plus the battery.
You can just drill some holes in it. Yeah, I don't know if the battery is rechargeable or replaceable. I'm not sure it's rechargeable. Probably not replaceable. The light bulb's something. It'll be like, if you were rich, it'd be awesome to have.
Yeah.
But,
it would be sweet. Have a party.
Get a little Switch dock that goes into the TV that's in your car. They can make all kinds of Switch docks that are just like slots you can put it into that'll pop it up somewhere.
The downside to a projector is they do tend to be a little bit dimmer.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, they're not known for their picture quality.
Yeah, so playing games on it probably will be a neat novelty, but get old after a while. But then the same could be said for a 4-player Mario Kart in tabletop mode.
Yeah, that's true.
If you could project it on the screen, that would change that game for certain.
That is true, though. It would still be, that would definitely be a step up from, a 2-inch square little, screen you got.
Split screen's not as bad when everyone's got their own 50-inch TV to look at.
Yeah.
That's true.
Even if it's dim as hell.
Yeah.
Can you play Mario Kart 8 with like half of it, like one Joy-Con?
Can you play it with one Joy-Con? Yeah, you just turn it sideways.
Really?
Yeah, you just turn it sideways.
I would hate to play it like that.
Do you have it yet? Did you pick that one up?
Yeah, I have it.
Mm-hmm. You haven't played with your sister?
I have. I have. Yeah, we used to play it when it first came out, but
how did you play? Like
the Breath of the Wild.
Was like somebody on Joy-Con?
Controller, and then one of us had the Pro Controller, the other had the Joy-Con grip.
You know what I was thinking the other day? I was thinking about the Switch and how much I'm not a fan of Joy-Con still, and I was like, I almost think it could be more portable. Like I would, if I wanted to, I could put the Switch tablet in my pocket and then just have like the Pro Controller somewhere. Because I'm like, I would prefer that so much more, and then I just had the little tablet, wouldn't have to worry about the Joy-Con being connected and trying to squeeze it into different stuff. Because like at work, I've done that before. Like, just put it on my desk and use the Pro Controller.
I like the Pro Controller better than the Joy-Con, but for travel, Joy-Con are better than.
Yeah, it's convenient to have everything all together like that, and to have the 2-player, which is their big thing. You know how Nintendo like always seems to make games like tailored towards whatever their hardware can do. I'm expecting they're gonna have some sort of silly, like motion control, like Wii type game that like shows off their tabletop mode, because they haven't talked about that a whole lot.
Oh, like
portable
Wii Party
that goes onto the TV. Yeah, like just something that they're like, this is specifically made to be on the small screen.
That
they
was
could do that.
Pretty much 1-2 switch.
Yeah. I mean, they've also got. We haven't seen a whole lot of. I think there's only one. I don't remember what it's called, but there is a one game for the Switch right now that has to be played in portable because you have to use the touch screen for it. Which that's another feature that's been underused, which we haven't really thought of. But because it's got a touch screen,
there was a game with that.
Yeah, I think there's an eShop title.
Yeah, it's a rhythm game. Does anyone remember off the top of their head?
Is it the VOEZ one? The VOEZ?
I think
we don't know officially. So if you're hearing this later and trying to correct us, we've already looked it up. So stop.
Or you can post in the comments and we'll say thank you.
Yeah. Which is different than our Tweeter or whatever it was.
Yeah, that's not on our Twitter account.
But yeah, that's a thing. Also, so I may have said multiple times while lying to myself that I would not pre-order the Samus 3DS, but I've got a pre-order in for the Samus 3DS. I could cancel it anytime
if you want.
Yeah. It's such a. I know we're at the end of the 3DS road. It really feels like it. And to upgrade, I never upgraded to the new Nintendo 3DS.
It's so sad to see the 3DS go.
Yeah, it will be when it finally goes. But I mean, it's showing its age. There's not a lot new happening. And
then they're not going to replace it. It's just going to be Switch, and that's it.
We'll see. I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, they've got to have something in development, I would think. Like I don't know. Maybe they really are just going all in on the Switch. Like it makes sense that they do that, but
yeah.
Like if they do that, they're saying we're never planning on ever in the future having a separate portable and a separate home console again. You know,
They are
if they're
committing
truly doing
themselves
that.
to it. Yeah.
Yeah, but I wonder if internally if they're committing themselves, or if internally they're like, hey, just in case, let's get some specs going on these separate handheld and home systems. You know, I wouldn't be surprised from the rumors for the NX forever, where there was going to be like a portable version and a home version, and that you could, you know, if you had both of them, you could take it with you. Like I could still see them doing something like that, like PlayStation did with the Vita, where you could play some of your games. You know.
Yeah.
I'm expecting a Switch
future.
box. I'm expecting down the road Nintendo's going to produce a TV only little box that's Switch compatible, plays Switch cartridge games, and it is a Switch but with no screen and just a simple box, and it's cheap or cheaper.
You know, it'd be hilarious if they made it so that the cartridge popped in the top like a top loader Nintendo. So you just have that tiny little cartridge sticking out of the top.
In the middle.
Adorable. And they could make it small, you know, it doesn't have to be very big, obviously.
Yeah. That's pretty insightful, though. I didn't think of that.
Yeah, it would be an easy. They rumored forever, people would always speculate with the Wii U that they were going to do like a Wii U Lite that just had like a Pro controller and the Wii U, you know, system, and that it'd be so much cheaper.
What was the Wii Mini? It was just the Wii U without motion controls?
And also didn't have internet, I don't think.
And not to confuse the Wii and the Wii U, the Wii Mini was, as far as I understood, just didn't have any internet.
Yeah, it was last chance cash grab.
And it still had motion controls and everything.
Yeah, it still did everything, I think.
Oh, okay.
It just, you couldn't go online with it, but Nintendo was getting ready to kill all those servers.
DVD, or wait.
Never could.
Wait, you couldn't play DVDs on a Wii U, on a Wii anyway, could you?
Yeah, can you believe it?
No Nintendo console has ever been able to play DVDs.
Yeah. Oh, the thing is that you couldn't do Netflix on it, because it has no internet connection.
Right. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Because a lot of people just use the Wii as like a Netflix box.
Yeah, because they haven't put it on Switch yet. Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've heard people say like the only reason my Wii is even hooked up is for Netflix, and I'm like, you're that far behind the times that you rely on a Wii to give you Netflix?
It's shocking how many people I know that up until a year or two ago still were, though. And they have a nice 1080p television, and they just don't seem to understand the difference.
I'm pretty technologically backwards myself, but I mean, I do have a phone and stuff, and a Fire Stick.
Is it a jailbroken Fire Stick? Or whatever you call it, unlock?
It's just a regular old way it's supposed to come out of the box one. And I haven't been mining for Bitcoins either. Yeah, so anyway, special edition stuff. I don't know. I don't know how much longer this 3DS can really go. I'm wondering if the Samus edition is going to be the final, like, special edition thing that they do. It seems like they haven't done one in a while. It's still really surprising that they're doing it at all.
If that's the final one, then it's still going to last for like at least a year, right? Or no?
Not necessarily.
No, I mean, this is a limited. I mean, they'll still make. I guess they seem like they're that Galaxy one that I don't care about. Seems to be like a staple. Like, I don't know if it was supposed to be a limited edition or not, but it's like that's the standard colors now are black and Galaxy.
Oh, how's the availability of the new 2DS XO? I haven't really checked any stores to see if it's just sitting on the shelf or it's gone like every other Nintendo.
Yeah, thanks to all the quality Nintendo products that have been coming out lately, I have not been to a store since it launched, I don't think. Or maybe I got Hey Pikmin, but yeah, I don't know that I've seen or looked, but I just have no interest. Like, so that's a weird product to me. It's just
perfect for my sister. She never uses the 3D on hers anyway.
Well, if she didn't have a 3DS already, maybe.
Yeah. Well, she got like an old one though.
But yeah, I guess it's got the new features, so it gives you the amazing ability to buy Super Nintendo games again at full price. and Xenoblade, and scan your amiibo directly, I guess, and you get a nub.
And it comes preloaded with Face Raiders.
Face Raiders, that's right. That's the Samus one was advertised as coming preloaded with AR games and Face Raiders pre-installed. Our way of saying thank you. No extra charge. Well, the slap in the face to me about the Samus one is like I've heard plenty of people complain that it doesn't come with the game, and I'm fine. I understand that. It's a full retail system, and they're not gonna throw in a brand new retail game that they're trying to make money off of for free because they're not looking to sell 3DSs. They could care less how many more 3DSs they sell. They've sold enough. They're happy with those numbers, I think they just want to be like, I'm going to get somebody to buy a second 3DS or a third or whatever. Like Amazon did a kind of cool new 3DS that was green, and they could have easily thrown Yoshi on it, but they didn't. But it did come packed in with Super Mario World, which felt a little bit like a My Nintendo reward to package it with a Super NES game. But I'm like, the least they could have done, well, I guess is what they're doing now, which is nothing. But I felt like they should have at least put like Super Metroid or something. Like that would have been something kind of cool. Or what if they had been like, hey, you're going to play Samus Returns, which is the remake of the first one. This one comes preloaded with the first Metroid game. Like throw a Nintendo game on there. Do something. Give us something for free, even if it's a $5 or $8 value. But they're just like, nope, you just pay full price and you get the ability to pay an extra $8 to add Super Metroid to it.
And the inside's just all black. That's pretty sexy.
I think they're doing that on everything now. I think they're only making the black into the flat matte black interior, which I'm okay with. But I don't know that I still don't know that I need that. And the Metroid amiibo came back into stock for a little bit, and apparently have now left us once more.
Yeah, I missed them. I missed your message.
I think they're going to be. I think they'll be back. I have a feeling there will be plenty probably on launch day as well. I'm trying to sadly take that day off at work. I don't know if I'm going to get it or not, but I kind of want to go.
I would buy the Samus one if it was a small 3DS, but they're only releasing like.
But you already have a small 3DS.
Yeah, but it's old and.
But it's a new Nintendo 3DS, isn't it? So there would be no difference.
2 years old. I think it's 2 years. 2 years old.
Who cares?
Well, it's just like how like the screen gets like I don't put screen protectors on mine, so they get stretched up and stuff like that. Yeah.
But what will you need it for?
Yeah.
What would I need a new 3DS for?
Yeah.
So he could keep getting play coins that he could use on the Mii games that he'd have to play to use his play coins, so he could have to get more play coins to play more Mii games.
Yeah. and for my backlog of 3DS games like Shin Megami Tensei 4 and Apocalypse and Link Between Worlds.
So
all the games you bought for the points.
I could see the upgrade if you're going to be playing it for years or for at least a while longer.
Yeah, it's cool. You know what? I've still got my Game Boy SP plugged in like next to my bed, and I never even play it. But every now and then, I'm like, hey, let's open this up.
The thing about the 3DS is I carry it with me everywhere. So it goes through more wear and tear. Yeah, it gets like it gets hit against my leg a lot, and like it gets worn down a lot faster.
And you're strong as hell, so it really wears it down.
Like
I could see that though. It'd be nice if you could have a road 3DS and a home 3DS that could share information.
Yeah. I refuse to have two, but yeah. I want a new one though, which they discontinued, it seems.
I like the extra large. I think Americans do. That's why they'd never really offered the smaller one very often here, is because I think the XL outsold the standard size, so they were just like, well, that's the one they want.
And I don't think they wanted
like the XL
faceplate.
Yeah,
they didn't want to launch. Oh, new faceplate.
I think they knew that the shelves would be hanging full of them.
The thing about the XL is like, yeah, it's better, but it's even though the screen's bigger, they're just magnifying a little bit. The
Yeah.
resolution's not better.
Yeah, I mean, there are
Yeah.
some games that I've heard look a little more pixely and a little less sharp on the bigger screen, because it shows
Just
up more of the flaws.
the biggest thing for me though is like the small one fits in my pocket better. Like the big one sticks
Yeah.
out a little bit and it's more bulky.
I had a struggle with it when I first got the 3DS, and I started with the XL, and I've said before, I think that is the absolute maximum size for something I will stick in my pocket. And it felt awkward when I first started doing it, and eventually it became like a second skin from carrying it with me everywhere. But like I remember the first time, I'm like, this is a ridiculously large thing to be just carrying around all the time.
Yeah.
Like it basically looks like I've got a tablet in my pants. Like
Or a phablet.
like
Oh
yeah,
yeah.
like I can't put anything else in my pocket because I've got a 3DS in there. So yeah, it's like, but after a while, yeah, it becomes like a wallet. It's like you wake up, you stick your wallet in, you put your 3DS in your pocket, and you go.
I went to the DMV and I actually got one Street Pass.
Wow. Somebody's like, I'm gonna be here forever. I'm bringing my 3DS. Like,
Right.
and probably never took it out.
Exactly.
I always thought it'd be awesome if you could just mail your 3DS to different places, like just mail it to a bunch of McDonald's. Postage due.
With the battery on.
So they bring it to the McDonald's. They're like, we're not paying for that. And they're like, send it back. I'm like, yes. Genius.
And
I also thought,
that's right.
yeah, I mean, there's a lot of these like little sad things that I think only Nintendo fans will understand, but the sad depths to go. I remember there was a mall in my town that has like little lockers you can rent. I was like, I should just go there in the morning and rent one of these lockers for like 50 cents, throw my 3DS in, and then come back at the end of the day and collect it.
Yeah.
I could get a lot of street passes if I was at the mall all day. And then I was like, that's not really worth it.
Well, after I beat like all the... Oh, what were you going to say, Jason?
I was going to say, how many times have all of us taken our 3DS with us because we think, man, we're going to get a ton of street passes at that place, and
yeah,
come home and there's maybe one. Like,
first year I had it, I went to like the fireworks, and I just brought it with me, and I was surprised. I think I ended up getting like 4 or 5 street passes, which is probably still the most I've ever had, like in person. Maybe not. I've had maybe more. But I couldn't believe it. I was like, there's at least 5 other people crazy enough to me, like to be like, I'm going to see the fireworks, and let me bring this 3DS with me. It was an interesting concept to me, but I guess some people are out there. I always see at the relays. I always see the same people, so I know there's a dedicated hardcore group of people that are out there that are still like, and they've got all the puzzle pieces, and they're probably not even playing the games anymore. They're probably just like, I'm doing this to help out the people who started late.
Well, after I beat all the Mi Plaza games, I was like, oh, I don't need to go to relay points anymore. But I was still going, just like, I don't know why. And then I was finally like, oh, I can stop going. So now, like, I'll purposely avoid like McDonald's and burger. I'm like, well, I'm purposely going to avoid
50
that
pounds.
because I used to go.
Like, I don't have to go to fast food restaurants all the time now. No, I know what you mean, though. Yeah, I mean, fair enough. I'm the same way. But yeah, I know what you mean. It's like it was. There is a time when you're like, you don't have to do this anymore. There were times when I'd be like, it's my only day off. I have to drive to as many Street Pass relays as I can.
Yeah.
This puzzle came out yesterday. I must complete it.
The goals they set out are like insane though. If it's true, like I think one of the accomplishments is like 1 million Street Pass tags or 10 million.
Yeah.
Like how is that even attainable?
There's probably one for meet somebody from every territory of every country in the world. Like,
no, there's not. Well, okay, yeah, because they don't say what it is. So yeah, you're right. It might be that.
There could be. I mean, yeah, they set it up to be. It's an unwinnable game. The odds were stacked against us before we even started. Some of them, meet me on their birthday. No, you don't.
Oh
You know
yeah,
you
I
don't.
got that one.
You get a little thing. Meet 5 girls in a row. Meet 5 boys in a row. Meet 5
Yeah, I
people
got
in a row
those.
that are all playing the same game. That one's easy to do when
Is that one
Pokemon's
of
come
them,
out.
really?
Yeah, there's one of them that I
Is that
unlocked.
really one of them?
It was like past 5 people in a row that have all played the same game last.
I don't
Um,
remember that one. Maybe I did get
yeah, I
that one. I have
think
to
or
look at it
something
again.
like that. I think there was. I think I got it, and it was like when Pokemon Y and X came out.
Yeah. I think I
Um,
always got like 4
Hmm.
people playing Pokemon Y, then here's some guy playing, some old game or something. It's like, well, ruin that
yeah.
streak.
I used to
Well, I know
sometimes
if you get
consciously
like,
think of how I wanted that to project before if I knew I was going to a relay, so I'd like put in something weird. Like I was
Yeah.
last playing Contra 4 for DS on my 3DS, like just to get them to scratch their
what
heads.
was I gonna? Oh, I think if 3 or 4 people or more were playing the same game, then it'll say a lot of people are playing this game. Do you want to see it on
Yeah, do you
eShop
want to
or
go to the
something?
eShop? They just
Yeah.
need the bunny.
Speaking of eShop,
Yeah, that's true.
That's right. As Mo pointed out to us earlier in the week, there was a rather interesting survey on Nintendo Life's website, and it was basically asking, how satisfied are you with the current state of the Switch eShop? And 53% of the people think it's pretty good so far, and 46% are optimistic for the future of the eShop. I don't think that's necessarily reflected here in this group, but what do
Yeah,
you?
well, I think I mentioned that last week that the same site that ran it, which is a great site and I love it, um, did like an editorial not too long ago about how great the eShop is on the Switch, and boy, it's really starting to feel like a real system now. This thing's got almost 100 games, and maybe maybe there's a type of gamer that I'm not familiar with that loves those simple kind of in the cheap lower end range like throwaway games, because I'm not really a mobile player, so I don't know what it's like to just play a game and be happy with the fact that it's just passing the time. Like, and if I do, it's like a Tetris or the Puyo Tetris is a good example or something like that. But like these throwaway where it's like how people go to see movies now and they don't even care if it's good or bad. They're just like, hey, I went to the movies. It was something to do. There was explosions. There was this. There's like, I bought a game. It's not the greatest game in the world. I wanted a game. It was kind of cheap, so I just bought it. Um, I try to fill mine really selectively with games that I'm actually excited to play or that look good to me. But maybe I'm just not giving I'm not giving these developers a chance.
Hmm. Well, I actually would be one of the people who would say it's pretty good so far, because even though it's stacked with like a whole bunch of shovelware, like it does have it does have like the
Garbage.
good ones that the good ones that anchor it, like Breath of the
It
Wild
does.
and Splatoon 2. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean it does. And let's face it, the Wii U is definitely not a shining example of a great eShop, and the Wii probably wasn't either. So I don't know what I'm expecting. I don't expect it's probably much worse. I'm sure if you go on the PlayStation or Xbox site, there's probably plenty of garbage mixed in there too, but it's easier to complain when there's no virtual console yet. So all you see are these games.
Unless you like Neo Geo.
Yeah, if you like Neo Geo, you are in luck because they've got you covered, my friend. There's just a lot of simple mobile games. Like I said, maybe I'm not giving them a try. I always see these very simplistic, either 8-bit or 16-bit graphic games, and there's good reviews that say like this is a fun game or this is a really addictive game, and I don't give them a chance. Like that Slime Son, it looks cool, and everyone's like it's really good, it's cool, it's got a great concept. I'm just like I'm not excited about it, but I was
I
excited for
never
Shovel Knight.
I never heard of Slime Song.
Slime Son. I think Nintendo's official account dropped a trailer like in the last couple days for it. I mean, it looks okay, but
Oh,
it looks like a cross between like a Game Boy game and a Nintendo like NES game.
oh.
It's got like 5 or 6 colors to it, and it's like kind of blocky, pixelated graphics. there's just a lot of that stuff out there. I don't know what I would expect. I mean, I don't know what makes a good eShop other than first party titles and virtual console titles. But they're starting to do this thing too, like with NBA when that comes out. That's going to be eShop only at first, and then they're going to do a physical version. So we may start seeing stuff like that start happening too, where the eShop becomes a place to pick something up before it gets a physical, or maybe even as a way to guess whether or not they want to do a physical. Like I think they
because Nintendo makes a lot more money on eShop games than if you buy it physically, right?
Yeah, it would make sense. I don't know if it's a production issue or what. Like it doesn't make sense to me why NBA announced like what in January that they were going to be on it, the 2K. So I mean, they've had time to produce something. They knew it was coming. And obviously the game's going to be ready because they're going to release it at the same day as the other consoles. It's just going to be digital only on the Switch until they decide to put it out physically, which if I was to buy it, I would buy it physically.
And there has been talk of with other games that Nintendo is kind of backlogged on their physical releases because they're reprinting some titles that were real popular, which I think is bogus. But
well, when you think of like what was the oh man, now I'm gonna Fatal Frame, was that the one that came out on Wii U? That was eShop only, and that was definitely felt like a AAA title. Like, and I can't remember if was that exclusive to Wii U. I think it had to be because it had like features where you use the gamepad as a camera.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Like I feel like that would have been more exciting to me, even though my physical disc reader didn't work. But that seems like that would have been a great one to have on a store shelf. To be like, look, we've got a mature game that's from a series you've heard of before, and it's only available on Wii U. Like, I don't think it's gonna have systems flying off shelves or anything, but it would have been a nice little pedigree to have. To be like, look at this third-party AAA title that's on Wii U exclusively, even though that was really late in the game too that came out. Like, it feels like that's just been the last year.
I want to buy Romance of the Three Kingdoms 4 Wall of Fire on Virtual Console again, but they haven't gotten the virtual.
Only a Nintendo fan. I'd really like the opportunity to buy this game again.
It'll be the third time. It'll be the third time I bought it because I had it on Wii, and then for some reason, my sister didn't want to transfer our Wii file to our Wii U, so I had to buy it for the Wii U again. And then
is it something you enjoy replaying, or you haven't finished it, or?
I think I finished it one time, but I just like enjoyed replaying it, and
is that like a Super NES RPG?
Beat it one more time. Yeah, it was on. Yeah, actually, it was on Super NES too. I had it for that too.
So those are probably decent in size and stuff. There's probably a lot to do. That thing was an RPG machine.
Yeah. Yeah, it was.
As far as my success rating for the eShop, I think we kind of mentioned it here, but the lack of a virtual console is one of the biggest things to me that says this isn't a Nintendo eShop because there's not Nintendo games to buy.
Yeah. It's a reminder of just how sad their eShop and how unappealing their eShop can be without the Nintendo titles that we always expect to just be there and take for granted that they're going to be there.
Yeah.
Which we'll get there. But
so they have virtual console for 3DS, but do they have like a dedicated shortcut to it? Because I haven't really noticed.
On 3DS, yeah, I think they do. Yeah. It's one of those pictures in the menu that you don't pay attention to.
Okay.
Yeah, they have
like games under 10. And, yeah, I think they do. But really, you're gonna know what you're looking for. They're probably rarely gonna sell you on a virtual console game that you didn't know existed until you started scrolling through.
Yeah.
And you're like, ooh, that was a game? I'm gonna buy that. It's like you're gonna buy the same games that you've already bought a couple times because those are the ones you like. And it's like I almost feel obligated to buy Super Metroid again, but I feel like I'm so close. Like it's got to come out. I don't know. I'm like, so I'm not sure if I'm going to get that, and then I've got the amiibo pre-ordered, but I'm not really super excited for the game just yet. I'm like, I don't know, $40 for a 3DS game. They've really been going high lately. Sorry.
Yeah, at least it's not $50 like Shin Megami Tensei 4 was.
Yeah.
Or was that just maybe that was just the bundle, the collector's bundle, I guess it was. But I think even the game, like if you download it on eShop, the Apocalypse was like $50 too.
Luckily with Shin Megami, those always seem to go on sale quite a bit.
Should have waited.
You should always do that. Those ones, because they always do. That's not Capcom? Who does that?
It's Atlas, and then I can use my gold coins for 30% off.
Get some swap noodle lessons. Yeah, or 30% off something.
Atlas is really good about dropping their game prices, usually by half.
Yeah, they do that. Capcom's done that with like the Resident Evil stuff.
Yeah, I picked up what was it called? Zero Escape Virtue's Last Reward.
Oh yeah.
When I guess it was half off too.
That looks kind of neat. And those are the type of titles. I guess when I'm looking for like in a Switch, like maybe not those exact titles, but that seems like a good middle range kind of title. Like it's not available for physical, but it feels like it's a well-developed game. You know.
Right. Yeah. Right.
But they spent like a year on.
The 3DS eShop is way better than the Switch eShop, but it's not a fair comparison since
that's true. You could say it's better than the Wii U eShop.
Yeah,
I mean, I've got a ton of games for 3DS. Like
me too.
The prices, I guess, are right, and the experience. I mean, none of the experiences feel kind of half baked like they do on the Wii U. You know, like some of these things, you're like literally somebody hours trying to make this look as good as they could, and then just uploaded it to the eShop. Like, like some, but even like the 3DS had like this Siesta Fiesta, which is like a breakout game.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's not the greatest thing you'll ever play in your life, but it's like a $10 game, and it seems fairly polished. There's a certain cheapness too that you can get to the look of those games that are all made in the same engine. You know. Like when you see them in the eShop, you're like, oh, this is one of those games. Like you can tell by like the graphical style. It's like how you can tell the difference between like a Nintendo game and a Genesis game by looking at the graphical style. It's like that. Yeah. You're like, oh, this must be one of those Unity games. Everything's all bright and clean. Like like that Scram Kitty on the Rails game. Kind of had that.
I haven't heard of that one. That's
Unity on Wii
game?
U. That was really... I think so. It looks like it is. That's a Wii U title that it got a lot of acclaim. I could never really get into it, but it's one that everyone so widely acclaimed that I was like, I must buy this and try it. It must be great. And then I'm like, this is really hard.
Yeah, that's what I heard. It was great, but then it was extremely hard.
Whenever, I don't know if it's because I'm old and lazy now, but whenever I see them describe a game and they're like, it's really hard, I'm like, I don't want any piece of that.
Yeah.
Same here, yeah.
Like 1001 spikes. It's a great game where you die, so that we have to give you 1001 lives, or whatever. I'm just like, that doesn't sound fun to me. That sounds frustrating.
Well, and
what happens if you lose all?
Go ahead.
Oh, go ahead, Jason. What happens if you lose all 1001 lives?
Game over, man.
You got to start from the beginning.
That would be frustrating. Sorry, Jason, you were saying.
Go ahead, Jason.
I was just going to say a lot of what they consider hard now is more so repetitive. You know what I mean? It's like grinding it out to get it right.
Grinding it out. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, or having to be pixel perfect.
Right. Yeah.
In the NES days, like a lot of the reason it was hard was because there was no save file, or there was like repetitiveness too, right? Or no?
Yeah, you'd have to get through a sequence I guess it's the same. I mean, it was just back then, like I said, there was a different mentality where I mean, there were easier games and harder games for sure, but every game was about like learning. You learned it by playing it and dying so many times that you're just like, oh,
Yeah.
now I know at this part I have to do this, and now it's just like you're like, oh, that's a cheap kill, and you're just like frustrated by it. But back then you'd be like, that's a cheap kill. Well, I've
Yeah.
got the thing for the weekend. I better keep playing.
That's
It's like, yeah,
back then you could finish the game in a weekend or finish it in a day or one sittings even sometimes.
yeah, because you had to, because there wasn't a battery backup or a password system necessarily.
Yeah.
But yeah, you would play the game so much because that you would have that one game. Now we're so spoiled for choice. It's like Eric was talking about his backlog. Like,
Yeah. Like everybody has a backlog, right?
yeah, we
Yeah.
didn't. Yeah, we didn't have a backlog when I was a kid. I had a
Nope.
wish list.
That's right.
Now it's like the Christmas catalogs where they have the little check boxes and they're like, check all the stuff you want to ask for Christmas. It's like now I have all those things and I'm just like, oh, I got that. I haven't opened it yet. I did that with Metroid Federation Force. I still got that sealed. I bought it like weeks ago. I was like, I'm gonna buy this because someday the people are gonna appreciate this game. I somehow think that's not true. But they'll be
Right.
like, here's an oddball that didn't sell well, so they didn't have to. I mean, they obviously won't be producing a whole bunch because they're not selling a ton. But in the digital age, that might not matter.
Well, usually
That game could live
when
on forever.
usually when Nintendo discontinues a console, I buy the new one and then I sell all the old games, even if I haven't finished them. But if they discontinue the 3DS and don't replace it with anything, I might just keep playing them. I don't know.
It's fun to go back to old systems now. And like I say, Game Boy Advance is a system that I bought a ton of games for, and I have a special place in my heart for. But when you go back now, that screen is tiny. It's like playing on a wristwatch. Like compared to like a 3DS XL. You're like,
Right.
how did I do this for hours? Like, I played through Metroid Zero Mission and Fusion, like these 4-hour games or whatever on this tiny little screen. Yeah, the 3DS is definitely awesome. It is kind of sad about the 3DS and the DS, I guess, that they went so crazy with the design that with the dual screens, it's going to be hard for those games to live on. I don't know how many like genuine A+ classics that should be around and celebrated in 25 years.
Mhm.
I guess you can always emulate stuff in a way,
Yeah,
but
and
some of the
like
touch
a lot of
features
them.
and stuff.
Oh yeah, that's true. The touch feed, but some of them like did any of them not really use the two screens? They were just like one screen was a map or one
Yeah,
screen.
like well, even Animal Crossing and stuff
Features.
is, it's like you can
Yeah,
do
just a map on the
inventory,
bottom.
but you
Yeah,
could easily just make that a pause menu.
yeah,
You know, it's
yeah.
like
True.
it's like with Zelda. Like I was expecting them to use the Wii U screen for inventory and all that stuff, and they probably were going to at some point. And then they're like, let's just make it like everything else, and you just can pause it and change your clothes and all that stuff. But it is nice to have,
Yeah.
like, even for like Mario Kart 8, it's nice to have a map and stuff like that. But you can also put it on the screen. So it was like an extra thing that you didn't really need. But
Well,
because the games are made like that.
there were some games that you did need it and it really used it a lot, right?
Yeah.
I can't think of any right now.
Yeah,
But
some of them had, and they always threw little things in. Like even in Super Mario 3D World, they had like little things where you could rub the screen to unlock like secret blocks and stuff. I don't think Smash Brothers used it
really?
at all, other than for Amiibo, right?
I don't think so.
Guess
Yeah,
you're
I
right.
think they
Yeah.
had some stuff where you blow into the microphone too to make like stuff move. Didn't they in Super Mario?
For which game?
In Super Mario 3D World. Now that I think about it, I think they threw a couple
Uh,
quirks in it, but they could just easily take it out,
yeah.
make some stuff. I can't believe that one's gonna come. It's got to. That's gonna be one of the ones that eventually makes it, I would think. That's
Oh,
too
to
good a game.
the eShop?
To the Switch, yeah.
To the
And they could
Switch?
do that too. It'd be really easy for Nintendo to just drop some of their Wii U games and just be like, these are gonna be eShop only titles. I think we've talked about that before, like Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze. The second screen is literally just solid black. There's absolutely nothing on it. Like, so that's a perfect port right there. Like,
Right.
the only thing you use the second screen for is going back to the menu. So,
Yeah.
so like after a while they gave up. I don't even remember now on Smash for Wii U what that second screen. I guess you could use it for drawing and stuff. There's a little drawing stuff in there, but I can't remember what it was used for, if anything, in that game.
Yeah, just Miiverse. Well, that's not really
Yeah.
for the game though.
Yeah, so it'd be easy to just. They could just as easily port that as they did with Mario Kart, and they will.
I remember that. Remember Z's predicting they're going to do the 1-2 punch with. Did he say Smash Bros on Switch and a Mario game? No, wait, they already have the Mario game.
That's true. They got Odyssey.
Yeah, it was going to be Odyssey and Smash, but now I'm more in
Yeah.
Mo's court about them, holding on to that for a rainy day.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because they could do it
Yeah,
anytime
halfway
there's a
through the life
lull.
cycle.
Yeah, they don't need it for the
Yeah.
first Christmas. They might need it for the second Christmas.
Definitely.
Because I mean, and that's the other thing too, is like we know about what's coming pretty much for the rest of this year. Everything's pretty well announced. I still expect them to say that there's going to be a delay for Xenoblade, but we'll see.
Yeah, there's going to be some delay somewhere.
Hey guys, it's August. We don't know.
Well, have they ever released anything for Christmas that they didn't announce in E3?
Yeah, that would be a good question. I would think there's got to be some
in my
stuff.
memory. Well, in my memory, nothing major, but I don't know.
I'm trying to think if that the unnecessary Mario tennis game for Wii U was that announced at E3?
Oh, Ultra Smash.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so because I remember Reggie playing it.
It seems like there's been some games where they've just been like, oh, and like in September, just been like, hey, by the way, this is coming out next month, and you didn't know about it before, but it was like, and it's one of those kind of tiered titles like that's nobody's really cares. Like it's coming out, but no one's going to be buying a system for it. But they haven't really announced much, other than we know there's a Metroid Prime 4 eventually. I don't even know if we know Nintendo's
Yoshi
plans
game.
beyond that. Yeah, Yoshi and a Kirby, which to me is
Kirby
like a lackluster year. Like
yeah.
a Kirby and a Yoshi does not
Year of
carry.
Yoshi.
Yeah, that's like a Wii U year. Like we've got a new Yoshi and Kirby game. It's like great, but I mean it can't always be a Mario year, and it can't always be. Certainly, it can't always be a Metroid year. But at least we've got one this year. It's a nice way to wrap up the year.
Yeah.
And then Odyssey, obviously, and all the other stuff. I feel like I haven't heard anything about these at third-party titles. I feel like I've heard more about Rabbids than Skyrim.
That's true.
Oh yeah, I totally forgot they're gonna do a. Was it what kind of theme Skyrim? Or it's
I don't
just
even
Skyrim for
know.
Switch?
I mean, it's gonna have some amiibo support for Link. They've shown so far,
Oh
where
yeah,
you can kind of get like
okay.
the clothes and stuff. I don't even know if we've got a date yet on Rocket League. That's still coming, and that's gonna be kind of a big deal. That'll be a good. That's a good eShop title. That's a good eShop title, Rocket League.
Could they do a Grand Theft Auto game on 3DS like they did for DS with the Chinatown War?
I don't know. Well, I was thinking it would be even awesome, even if they just ported like to Switch. If they ported like an old version, like a Grand Theft Auto 4, like something from a PS2, PS3 era, even would be cool as a portable for fans that have never really played it or spent much time playing it. Like the Nintendo.
Yeah.
Just since we all live in a cave where there's only Nintendo products for the most part. They could do some of that, and that would be a lot more welcome to me than some of the other things like that. Payday 2 that's supposed to be. I don't know when that's supposed to be coming.
The what 2?
I think Payday 2. It's I think, or is it Payback? 2? Is it Payback 2? See, I don't even know. Yeah, it's because it was on like a PlayStation or Xbox or both.
But I'm surprised they don't have a hockey game, given like there's a lot of Canadian fans in Nintendo of Canada, right?
That's true. They could even bring. I mean, they could bring back ice hockey. Whatever happened to generic Nintendo titles? They should do that.
Wait, isn't there ice hockey on 3DS?
It's probably in the eShop. And they might have done. They used to do some of those like silly like backyard games. Like there's like backyard hockey and backyard football. I don't know if those made it to the 3DS era. That were like 2-on-2 hockey, like NBA Jam hockey. We do have the NBA shootouts or playgrounds rather. So that's pushing it, but that's like an okay eShop title, I guess. I'll allow it. And the sweet racing game, the Fast RMX Neo, whatever it is. Like
well,
those
you're
are
saying
okay.
that you don't even give the. You were saying you don't give the cheaper games a chance. What about that solitaire / horse racing game on
Was
3?
it Pocket Jockey or
Pocket Solitaire?
whatever?
Pocket Jockey?
Oh, is
Yeah. Did you
that the
try
one?
that one?
I didn't. I heard mixed reviews. I heard a lot of people saying like it's one of those games that gets its hooks into you, and once you start playing it, Jason? Did you play that one?
Yeah, I played
Okay.
quite a bit.
Yeah. So
How was it? Because I didn't play it, but
it was pretty good. My biggest issue is you kind of get to a point where, or at least I did, I was apparently missing something and started losing races for no reason.
like the difficulty.
Other than that, I enjoyed it.
Does it have an ability to put money into the game?
No, it doesn't have.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say maybe you just didn't put enough money in. And then Flip Wars is the game that nobody's talking about.
Yeah.
Well, I think the biggest thing they did there was it previously had a cool sounding name to it, and now it's Flip Wars, and it's like, who wants to play that? Like, I'm going home to play Flip Wars, man.
And it looks like Metroid Federation Force because they're all in those little chibi, like Robo-looking suits. Not chibi Robo, but like, but like the little big heads and tiny bodies, and I don't know. That's one of those titles that'll be a sleeper hit because I think that might be first party.
Oh, really?
I think it might be there. It's one of those ones they're promoting. I'm also getting the feeling that they're selling channels, like in that news feed.
Oh no.
Because every now and then you'll see one that's not a Nintendo title pop up, and they're probably like, "You can put it on the eShop, and then also if we can give us an extra 5% of your profits, we'll give you your own news channel people can subscribe to that no one cares about."
Right.
The news channels seem so misguided. I just don't know what it's really for. If you're playing a Nintendo Switch at this point, you already know whatever they have to tell you.
Right.
I don't know if they've ever looked at the benefit of bringing news to you. It might be newsworthy to be like, hey, there's a shop on the e-sale or a eShop sale. Oh, my Lord. I guess I shouldn't have gone to bed at 2 a.m. and then woke up at 6 this morning. But yeah, like a sale or something like that, or like an announcement that wasn't previously made.
Well,
it's always
it didn't really matter, but I didn't really matter, but I didn't know that they would give you 2 slabs of raw meat and an apple if you.
I think it's 1 slab of raw meat and 2 apples.
1 slab.
But yeah, like that's. I mean, okay, they've already touted multiple times that they've at some point had over 100% of sales on Legend of Zelda. So who is excited?
100%? What do you mean?
Like, yeah, because they had sold more. They'd sold more copies of the game than they sold Switches. So you can assume by that everyone has played it that has a Switch, or that there's a bunch of people that bought it that are waiting to get a Switch. But either way, I'm pretty sure it's reasonable to say nobody is excited about getting simple ingredients that can be found anywhere in the game. Like, and I don't know, I don't know what Nintendo is hoping to get. Like, in the boardroom when they brought this idea up, what was the ultimate? Let's give this a green light. That's a great idea. Like, what did they think the best possible outcome could have been? Like,
if I'm not mistaken, the apples are pretty much the first thing you find in the game, except maybe for a stick.
Yeah, and once you figure out that you can kill animals, you've got meat.
Yeah.
So yeah, you're pretty much you could anything you could find on the Great Plateau. I don't want for free. because I've already got it for free because it's everywhere on the Great Plateau.
Has anyone actually done that? Actually got the free items?
No. That would mean I would have to get up and take the game out of my Switch and put the new game in just for an Apple.
Well, I have it
Swapping
downloaded, so I did it
cartridges,
just to see.
Yeah.
Just to see if it would work, and it did work. But that was it, and I just saved it and turned it out.
So how do you do it? Do you just go to the
Is that cartridge?
Supposedly you have to open the game from that link in the news feed.
Oh,
That's
okay.
what they said.
All right. I haven't looked at it. I rarely read the news.
Yeah. Like everybody else.
You always just have a blue dot on it. Yeah.
Yeah. I know. I've started doing that. That's like a real Nintendo Zen thing. When you start seeing that blue light on your 3DS and your Switch, and you're like, I'm not even going to check it. Like, I'm not interested. No, thank you. The only reason I do that is to clear it out because I have a whole bunch of them. Like, oh, look what was new in the eShop 2 weeks ago. Something I've never heard of and something I don't care about.
Well, I want to touch on one final topic tonight, and it's going back to the Switch, of course. And recently, a company called GameVice is claiming that the Nintendo Switch Joy-Cons have violated a patent which they had for a wiki pad. So I guess everybody's seen the news story. And what they're hoping to gain is what's amazing. They're hoping to ban Switch sales. Nobody would have. They want to ban Nintendo from sales.
Well,
every one of those troll suits says that, though.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh, really?
And that's every generation. I'm sure even the Wii U, as unsuccessful as it was, probably got sued at some point for something. Yeah. I remember the 3DS got sued for the 3D, and they were ordered to pay the patent for glassesless 3D. The guy, I think he had worked at Sony at the time, who owned the patent. And then I think like years later, they were able to get it an appeal going. And I think they dropped it or dropped the amount they had to pay the guy or something. So it's like they always end up kind of coming out clean. But I think these people, I don't know. I don't think it's a similar idea, but there's a million other companies probably making clip-on controllers, which, I mean, Bluetooth makes more sense anyway. I mean, I'm sure they are Bluetooth.
Oh, they are Bluetooth? Or maybe other different proprietary. Yeah, I see what you're saying.
You know, I mean, if you're not gonna carry those in your pocket and clip them on when you're on the train, so you could just as easily just get a Bluetooth controller and play games on your phone. But I mean, they've got a valid enough point, I guess. It's a close enough thing. The Joy-Con separate from the sides. This thing separated, and this thing did launch. I think I read somewhere that company launched as a company making a tablet that had clip-on controllers on it. That was like their own brand of tablet. And when that failed and didn't do very well, they said, well, what if we just make the controllers and say this is like an accessory for a cell phone? So there is a little smoke there, but Nintendo's got lawyers for days.
Yeah, but dude, like that's a whole other conversation with patent trolling, but where does that end? What can you patent? Flipping controllers onto a phone? Like, is that something you really should be able to patent? Is that not an idea that a million people have had? Like, you know what I mean?
Why doesn't Nintendo go up against PlayStation and Xbox for putting L&R triggers on their controllers?
Yeah, exactly. It's like, hey, Nintendo made a controller, and anybody else that has come along now, they're going to try to sue. Yeah, they can't. Yeah, you know, it's.
Yeah. Well, I think that's why the cross-pad
kind of
is separated on stuff, is because I think Nintendo owns a patent on that D-pad, the way that it's done and the actual design of how it pivots and stuff. I think they own that, so that's why the companies don't do that. But they patented that, but not like shoulder buttons.
Wait, so you're saying on all the Xbox and PlayStation controllers, none of them have D-pad?
They've got something like a D-pad, but I think the way it functions is different. Like on a PlayStation controller, it's like it is on the Switch, where it's the separate buttons.
Oh, okay.
Which maybe Sony can now sue Switch. You ripped off our D-pad. Aha!
Yeah, that company's just trolling. They'll settle for a cent.
So I don't know if
Or free.
Nintendo's a settling
after.
type. I don't
Really?
think they are. I think they take him to the mat every time. I'm pretty
Awesome.
sure.
Yeah.
Like with the 3D one, I mean, they lost that one at first.
That's totally
Oh,
Nintendo.
and then they appealed it.
Yeah, like, what are we paying these lawyers for? We keep them on retainer for this. Let's see them do some work for us. So I'm sure they'll
Yeah, they
defend
won
it.
that
But
case for Donkey Kong too.
yeah, against Universal back then.
Yeah.
I'm sure they'll say that it's a different thing because this is motion control and this has IR sensors and vibrates and whatever. But it's hard to say what you can patent as an actual concept. Did they patent clip-on
Yeah.
controllers? Did they patent the idea of controllers that are separate from a system? Or who knows what the patent, how much of it's concept and how much is design. I think they'll be fine. Nintendo's gonna be
Right.
fine, everybody.
Right.
It's just money. Oh, anyone have any thoughts on that? On how Nintendo? I mean, I don't think Nintendo saw this and ripped it off. I'll say that.
Yeah.
I don't think
me
Nintendo
too.
said, "What a con!" Say, "Wow, these guys are losing their shirts. Let's make something exactly like that." I mean, it was a failed design that didn't sell, and this is that company trying to do a little cash grab while they can. But Nintendo doesn't look at a failed design and say, "Let's try to reproduce that."
Exactly.
So that should be their whole defense. Your Honor, why would I try to copy something that sold like 3 units? I could just make another Wii U.
That's a good one.
The Wii U too. Yeah, I think it's been a slow.
Bono would sue them.
Yeah, it's been a slow week for Nintendo. I'm sure there's more to come. I expect a couple more game announcements maybe coming around September. We're probably not too far away from another direct, I would think, in the next month or so. They got to kind of announce their fall and holiday lineups. We know there's some dates that still need to be addressed and probably a handful of delays that need to be announced. But we'll see. I don't know what's on the horizon after Mario, though. Like, that's really the last one on the calendar right now, isn't it? Which is kind of interesting for them.
Yeah, that is. Yeah.
They don't want another Zelda on their hands. Although I feel like that's what Metroid. Yeah, where every year, like, is this going to be the year? Nope.
Right.
Like, I feel like that's what Prime's going to be. Like, I'm fully expecting Metroid Prime 4 to not come out for another 4 years.
And what are they doing with the Animal Crossing?
Something. That could be an E3 next year. I mean, it seems like it's time.
Yeah.
But they love to drag it out, so they'll do an announcement, show a 2-minute trailer. Yeah, show a 2-minute trailer, tell about 2 features, and then we'll have to wait a year to get anything. And then, of course, somewhere we'll get. I don't know if Japan will still get it first, and then we'll have a year of that.
You think they'll have like a discount store in the game where you can walk in and buy Amiibo Festival? Like that should be. I hope they put that in there as an actual game. Like, I hope they include that in the
game.
As a mini game. Because they're never going to be able to sell that.
I mean, I think we all kind of felt with New Leaf there at the end when they did the last big update. They had to be testing the waters for, possibly something for the Switch.
The cards probably still too. Yeah, they probably wanted to see if they could get rid of some of those amiibos that were on the shelf not selling well and get rid of some of those cards and see how far they could take that. But yeah, I mean, we haven't heard anything really on the mobile front either. I mean, there's supposed to be the Animal Crossing mobile. Other than it's delayed. Yeah, and we haven't heard a whole lot about mobile in a while, actually, now that I think about it.
Well, Fire
I-
Emblem Heroes,
Yeah.
I hear about that every day. Oh, you mean new ones?
Yeah, I mean, aside from people like us.
Yeah.
When's the last time you heard DNA listed on a news site or somebody talking about that? Like,
Been a long time.
everyone was excited about Nintendo doing mobile until Nintendo did mobile.
Oh, that's something else too. More mobile games is something they got to keep in their back pocket for. Right now I think the big thing we're waiting for is the online service, and I don't really think we'll see anything until that's
going to be disappointing.
Yeah, but we'll see. Like I said, it's a slow news week. I felt like this week, and there's not a lot going on, but Nintendo's always got something up its sleeve.
That's true. There's always something going on, something new in Nintendo land. Right?
Well, more to complain about in the future.
That's right. Well, I want to wrap up tonight. I want to thank you for tuning in, and of course, you can always check us out on Twitter. You can check us out on Stitcher and iTunes if you aren't already. And we appreciate you watching. Have a good night.
Also on YouTube.
Also
Have a good night. Bye, everybody.
Good night.